Next. Oh, it says next. Next back. Okay.
Okay, so that's for like the slides when I just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Should I just stay up here?
Yeah. Sit down. Relax. Oh dear. Okay. We're getting ready to close out the sessions, and I wanted to introduce a young lady that I met. She randomly emails me, and we got to be some friends here and everything. And she's a neuroblastoma survivor, and I would like for her to tell her story. We met couple via email a couple months ago or whatever. So, and I'll let her tell you the story a little bit further. Alexis Grand.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alexis. So me and Pat met. It was my senior year of high school, which I'm graduated now. And I was doing a capstone project, which is something, I went to the Cecil County School of Technology, where I studied biomedical sciences. And we did these capstone projects, which is basically we started with an idea. We came up all by ourselves, something we were passionate about. And then we went on and we created whatever we wanted with it. So I'm very passionate about cancer. And when me and my mom first started talking about it when I was younger, I don't remember our first conversation, but as I got older and we started talking more about it, I always remember being super curious and always having questions. So I decided to do my capstone project on neuroblastoma, and basically, how does education impact the willingness to donate, which it's kind of cool because when I was talking to Pat, they were researching the same questions too. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So I held a whole donation at my school. I created a slideshow about neuroblastoma, and I went around and I taught 8 different classes. And then I went in the lunchroom and I had donation boxes, and depending if I educated them or if I didn't, and seeing how like the money varied. So just start showing. So I'll start showing the pictures so you guys can start looking at them. So that was how I met Pat and got invited here to speak here. So my story, I was about 1.5 years when I was diagnosed, so I really don't remember a lot, just pretty much based off what my mom has told me and what we've talked about, what I've looked into, and based on these pictures. So yeah, I was about 1.5 years when I was diagnosed. It started out with a fever. So my mom had noticed I wasn't feeling very well. She was giving me medicine. My fever just kept going up. I was at about 103. And it wasn't going down. So that's when my mom took me to the ER. And from there, they did the chest x-ray, and they seen a shadow. So they had asked if we had more time. So I had gotten transported to AI DuPont, where they did all my studying there. I had my surgery. I was there for 14 years of my life. So we went to AI. And sorry, I'm a little nervous. So we went to AI. They did 2 weeks of straight testing. It was nothing but testing, just trying to figure out, because all they seen was the shadow. So they knew it was a tumor, they just didn't know what it was. So after 2 weeks of straight testing, they finally diagnosed me with neuroblastoma. I had immediate surgery once they found out. I was in the hospital for about 3 to 4 days in recovery after surgery, which this shows kind of the setup of where I was. So you can see all the monitors down there in the picture on the bottom. That's where my drainage tubes were. So in later pictures, I'll show you the scarring that I still have, which I have like a dent in my back from the drainage tubes being in there that you can still see today. But that's kind of like the setup of how everything was. And then just closer up pictures of kind of how I was laying in the crib. So you can see that I look very miserable. I was on a lot of medication, so I didn't really have much of an idea of what was going on most of the time. But I was very excited to leave when the time came, nothing but smiles. So then this is just close-up pictures. So you can kind of see in the picture where I'm sitting up, the scarring, and then that big white patch is where the drainage tubes were. So just a closer up look, and what you can kind of see in this picture here, the drainage tubes. And then that's me coming home, very happy, ready to be out of the hospital. So that's me coming home and still doing normal things, still going outside to play with the dog. I was a wild kid. I still went out in the dirt, rolled around in it, did a bunch of crazy stuff. So this is the scarring. It might be a little hard to see, but my scar is pretty decent sized. It's not as, can't really see it as much now. My mom put medicine on it, so like it wouldn't be very like purple, and you couldn't really see it as I got older, so it kind of like faded with my skin. And then you can see the dent at the lower part of my back. That's where the drainage tubes were. So that's what you can still see today. It's not bad. So I'm glad that I still look very okay. So, and then I just wanted to put a collage of things that, even though I had cancer and I don't really remember much of it, I didn't let it stop me. I still went off and did anything I wanted to do. And so you can see I played basketball, I was soccer, varsity lacrosse. I still went to school dances. I was still involved in all of school events. I graduated from 2 schools, so the Cecil County School of Tech, where I did the biomedical sciences, and then I graduated from my high school. And then I was also an officer in the National Honor Society. So I just wanted to put these up here because I just wanted to show that, like, don't let anything stop you. You can still do everything you want to do. And I just want to add too that really family is your strongest supporter. My family, my mom and my mom's side of the family, amazing people, and they were there by my side through everything, always supported me no matter what. They pushed me to do more than what I thought I could ever do. And it's led me to where I am now, being able to talk to everybody here, and was invited to this. And it's just amazing because I remember being younger and I was always so curious, and I was like, I want to do something involving cancer. Like I want to do a fundraiser. I want to do one of those 5K runs, like just anything to get me involved. And I was like so sad because I never knew like how to get involved. And it's like this capstone project came up my senior year, and I didn't expect it to be anything more than just a project. Especially didn't expect to be flown out to Chicago. So it's been really exciting, and I'm just finally glad to feel like I'm a part of something, which is great because I really do here. Everybody is wonderful, and thank you, Pat, again. She's amazing. But yeah, family's your strongest supporter, so just always be there for them, always show them that you care. And this is just showing where I've been, and I'm going to college to major in nursing. I want to do pediatric oncology, so I'm still going places. I'm still going. So, but that's all I have, short and sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did an awesome job. You did an awesome job. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We have a second speaker coming. You did awesome. Nobody has questions? No? Okay. Our next speaker is Theo Yanis. You've spoken before at our conference, have you, or at our gala? Yeah, okay. He's a local family here, and we would like Theo to come up and tell his story. And again, if you have questions of Theo, please feel free to ask him. Theo Yanis.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to thank Ms. Pat for inviting me to speak at this year's CNCF conference. My name is Theo Yanis, and I'm going to my senior year at Fremd High School in Palatine. So in May 2011, when I was 6 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma with main tumors in my adrenal gland, my left elbow, and underneath my left eye. I was treated at the University of Chicago Comer's Children's Hospital, where I received 6 rounds of chemotherapy, surgery to remove my primary tumor, 2 stem cell transplants, 12 rounds of proton beam radiation, and 6 months of immunotherapy. My treatment finished in the August of 2012, and next month I'll be celebrating 10 years of being in remission. Fighting cancer is hard, scary, and unpredictable. My family and I attended the same CNCF conference the year I was diagnosed, so in 2011. I remember meeting other kids who were fighting neuroblastoma too in the playroom in the back. My sisters and I participated in activities while my parents listened to presentations from doctors. During that conference, they also connected with other families who shared their experiences and offered them advice and comfort and hope like you guys. And that's why I'm here today. It can be very difficult for kids and parents to picture what life will be like after chemotherapy, radiation, and all those hospital visits are no longer needed after treatment. I'd like to share with you what I've been up to since I completed treatment 10 years ago in hopes that it'll give you guys a little something to look forward to. I love sports. Ever since I was very young, I've played almost every single sport, including basketball, soccer, hockey, golf, and baseball. The only sport my parents would let me play was football because it was too dangerous. We agreed to disagree on that one, though. Being active and staying in shape has always been super important to me. Even when I was in treatment, I convinced my oncologist to let me continue playing soccer, and I was that bald kid on the field that scored the winning goal during the last game of the season. Today, I play varsity golf and baseball at my high school, and I plan to play basketball in the rec league this winter with my buddies. Although I have a passion for sports, education is and has been my top priority. I'm a pretty good student and mostly take advanced honors classes. I've made the honor roll each year, each semester, and I will also be inducted to National Honor Society in next month. Like Alexis, I'd like to share with you a quick story about one of the classes I took, which was similar, the AP Capstone. The class I was centered around a 9-month research project where I had to investigate a unique topic that no one else had ever published before. And my research centered on childhood cancer survivors and how they perceived their social status in high school compared to kids that were never diagnosed with cancer. I gathered and assessed data from 150 childhood cancer survivors in the Chicago metropolitan area and 200 non-cancer patients in high school. I submitted my report to the college board and received a score of 5, which is the highest possible score that qualifies for my college credit. I sent a copy of my report to my oncologist at U of C, and maybe one day some fellow will also want to investigate my topic further and get it published. In addition to academics and sports, I've always been drawn to music. I play the piano and I played trumpet in jazz band. 2 years ago during COVID, I joined my high school debate team. My debate partner and I not only made it to the Illinois State Championships, but we won first place 2 years in a row. Yeah. My Greek culture is a huge part of my identity. I'm very involved in my church and serve as an altar boy captain. I attended Greek school and was a part of a Greek dance troupe where I performed at festivals, weddings, baptisms, and museums. I've also gone away at Greek Orthodox camp in Wisconsin for the past 7 summers, where I've met some of my greatest friends. This summer, I got my first job as a tutor in math and English, and I'm also starting to work on my college application and essays. So next year, hopefully, I'll be heading off to college. I'm pretty much a regular teenager. Many people I meet now are often shocked to find out that I had fought cancer. It's not something I really lead with. Cancer is a big part of me, but it does not define me. Over the years, I've been active in helping raise money for childhood cancer research, speaking at events like this one, and supporting organizations like CNCF, Bare Necessities, Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation, and others. And when I share my story, I'm living proof that clinical trials and more research can help to improve survival rates and better outcomes for these patients. And obviously, the last 10 years have not been perfect. I have faced some long-term effects from my cancer diagnosis and treatment, both physically and emotionally. And while my visits to the hospital for scans went from every 3 months to 6 months to a year, and now none at all, I still make an annual trip to my oncologist and frequent trips to specialists to make sure that everything is okay with me. As a result of my treatment, I have neuropathy in my hands and feet, which I'll always deal with. I have high-pitched hearing loss, and I do wear hearing aids. I have scoliosis, high thyroid levels, scars over my body, and even some areas where my hair didn't grow back completely. I almost didn't get braces because my teeth have very short roots because of the chemotherapy, but luckily I found an orthodontist who was willing to help and work through the risk to straighten my teeth, so yeah. Like most teenagers, I'm pretty stressed, but unlike most kids my age, I get anxious and overwhelmed when I think about the fact that I had cancer. And as I've gotten older, the more I realized how big of a deal my treatment actually was. I sometimes feel alone despite being surrounded by lots of people who care about me. And what I went through and what you and your families are going through is pretty unique, and it's a journey that no child should obviously ever have to make. Even though I have these long-term effects, I've been extremely fortunate to overcome so much. And when you think about all the chemo I had, the 2 stem cell transplants, the antibodies, most people would say I wasn't supposed to be a 2-sport varsity athlete. I wasn't supposed to be in the 99th percentile academically, and I wasn't supposed to be the obnoxious extrovert that I am today, but here I am. Every day is a blessing, and I'm so thankful for everything that has happened to me. I wish you and your families the best, and I hope today is just as rewarding for you as it was for me 10 years ago. And on behalf of my entire family, we wish you health, healing, and happiness always. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Nope, no question? Oh, one question?
First, I just want to say thank you to you and Alexis for being here. I know it means a lot to every person in this room to hear from you guys, so thank you for that. And the other thing is the paper and the research that you did comparing students in the Chicago area, I don't know how long ago you wrote that paper. You may not remember, but was there any, I'd love to kind of hear any insights you had from your research.
Yeah, so that was my sophomore year. It was a little less than 2 years ago. Basically, what I had to do was find something that had not been researched before, and I knew that, like Alexis, it was something I wanted to do something with childhood cancer. One thing I found was finding something where there was differences, and I could tell that there was a difference between myself and someone else. So the whole idea with social status was that the way kids that had cancer thought about themselves in a social setting. So I broke down PTSD, depression, anxiety, extrovert, introvertness, and any physical long-term effects that they may have and how that affects it. So what happened was I took 150 kids I sent out a survey and 150 responses I got, and I also took the control side, which were kids that never had cancer. And I asked them questions based off of depression, anxiety tests, PTSD tests, and found how they changed or how they were different between these childhood cancer survivors and kids that never got it. So the 2 really big things that I got out of it was your subjective social status, or the way you perceive oneself on a social setting, is a lot lower for childhood cancer survivors. And those were caused by 2 reasons. One was extrovertness. So on net, what I found in my study was that childhood cancer survivors are not as extrovert and don't really put themselves out there in high school. And it was also big for depression. So depression rates were a little bit higher, and that kind of went along with PTSD and anxiety, but the results that I got from PTSD and anxiety were not large enough for me to make a clear indication. So I did submit that to my oncologist at University of Chicago. I haven't gotten a response back on whether or not that will be published or anything, but I did receive the 5, which got me some college credit, which is nice.
That's awesome.
My daughter lost some of her hearing as well. Do you wear your hearing aids often or every day? Because I have problems getting her to wear them, even though she cannot hear you. She will stand there, she would nod, she would sometimes read your lips and act like she hear you, but she don't or even don't care.
Yeah.
So do you wear them like you're supposed to, or are you just like, I'm just going with the flow today?
No, I don't. Not how I should. But I do wear them in school, and that's where I really need it, because the whole idea, if I'm speaking to you personally, I can hear you just fine. But the problem comes when I'm speaking to you and somebody's speaking behind me, and then everybody's in public, and I get overwhelmed and I can't hear you. So that's where in a school setting, especially at lunch or in a classroom where we're having group activities, that's where it really helps me. I don't wear them at home because I don't need to. But yeah, I think it's not just your kid. I think it's a lot of kids just don't wear their hearing aids or don't wear their glasses or whatever. But yeah.
I already do that. I put Alexa all over the house, so now she has it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much, Theo. It was a
Thank you.
great talk, you and Alexis. This ends today's sessions. We have dinner tonight and DJ, so get your dancing shoes on. We'll have dinner. Everything will be back in Junior Ballroom A at probably around 6:30. So take a break, get a little rest, and then come back around and get ready to dance. Thank you.